Hello there, friends and family. Welcome once again to Nana's Kitchen. And if you are new to this channel, I want to take the opportunity to thank you for stopping by. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to hit that button after the end of this video or during it or right now. Thank you. Now let's get started. So friends and family, my intention is to share the exciting and delectable recipes I have on the menu today, with the most focus on the steak preparation. So my boo and I recently made a trip to the butcher store where I picked up some dry aged T-bone and some ribeye. It's dry aged, so you know the meat is going to be extremely flavorful. Now I'm going to be cooking everything outside because God has been generous enough to share this bright and sunny day with us, so let's take advantage of it, shall we? So my fire is almost ready. I fan it just like we do in Africa, and it's ready. The charcoal is lit, literally, and ready to do us the honors of transforming our ingredients into something palatable. And here, friends, let me take the pleasure of introducing our stunning dry aged T-bone cut of steak. You can tell just by looking at the color that it's perfectly dry aged, and it's going to be full of moisture because it's dry aged. It's going to have a richer, beefier flavor, and it's going to be more tender and more buttery in texture. We are ready for this chow down, aren't we? So season generously on both sides with your crushed black pepper and your kosher salt. And using your fingers, you're going to pat your seasoning, your salt, and your crushed black pepper into the flesh of the steak. And make sure you also season the sides. No matter what you do, some of the seasoning will fall off. That's why it's important to generously season before you hit that hot piping skillet. Just like we did, you hear that sound, you know something great is happening, right? All right, so this is the T-bone. The other two are actually ribeye, and they are not as aged as this one. They're also aged, but not quite as aged. I'm going to be cooking this one into my preferred temperature, which is 145 degrees Fahrenheit, which will result in a juicy and buttery medium well T-bone steak. And to do that, you want to cook it 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And the secret really is to have that skillet extremely hot, screaming heat. Now, once you flip it, you're going to cook it 2 to 3 minutes again, and then you're going to introduce your flavors. So I have my thyme, fresh thyme. I have my rosemary and also the garlic, and then I add the butter. And then once it melts, I start basting it just like I did just now. The butter turned a little brown, but that's even more flavor. Now we are cooking our ribeye. Now this is for the kiddos, so we're going to cook it completely well done. Still, our skillet is nice and hot. 4 to 5 minutes on each side. And we're going to introduce the same flavors with our garlic, the thyme, and the rosemary, and a little bit of butter, and baste it. Now you see that crust that has formed on each side? Yes, that is how you seal in the flavor and all those lovely juices. Without a doubt in my mind, this is exactly how I enjoy my steak. What do you think? Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Now once you're done cooking your steak, the next thing to do, which is super important, is to let the steak rest. Avoid cutting into it right away, because what will happen is all those juices that you successfully sealed in by searing it with that beautiful crust are just going to run out completely and defeat the entire purpose of cooking it this way in the first place. So we're done. We're gonna let it sit and rest. Moving on to our potato hash. Now this potato hash recipe is a quickie. I'll bring you a detailed version later on. What I have here is a variety of potatoes. I even have sweet potatoes in here to bring us a hint of sweetness, which makes it more interesting to eat and enjoy. So in here, I'm using the juices from cooking the steak, and I have poured in some finely chopped scallions, red bell peppers, and some garlic as well. Cooked it for under a minute, and then I add the potatoes. I just parboil them so they're not completely cooked through. And so what I'm going to do now is caramelize them as much as I can get them caramelized. And then at some point I add some salt and crushed black pepper, and I leave it spread out in the skillet and let it just continue to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes before I turn it. Now I also season with some minced, the original flavor, which is loaded with a variety of spices and herbs and minus the sodium. An idea I picked up from watching Obapa's Kitchen, who is my Ghanaian sister and has a channel called Obapa's Kitchen. She is a huge fan of using non-artificial seasonings and spices in enhancing the taste in her food. She even recently embarked on a weight loss journey that inspired all of us. Please check her channel out. I have linked the channel below in my description box, and show her some love. Now it's time for our scrambled egg preparation. Now you don't want your skillet to be piping hot at this point. You want it to be just warm. You're going to add your butter or your preferred fat, and then you're going to pour it in your whisked eggs. Now I have just a little bit of half and half, which is whole milk and a combination of cream or heavy cream. So I add a bit of that, just about a dash of it. And then I add my salt and crushed black pepper, whisk it together, and I just pour that mixture into my skillet, and I begin to draw it and pull the sides in, and then scramble it gently, with emphasis on the word gently. If you want your scrambled eggs to be creamy, not necessarily runny, you can tell it's not runny, but it's nice and creamy. It literally melts in your mouth. That's how to cook it. Again, I will have a detailed video on how to prepare the perfect scrambled eggs. Done with that, let's move on to our French toast. So I have prepared my custard, which I am going to be dipping my bread in, and here is the bread. Yes, I made butter bread using whole grain wheat flour. As you can see, came out perfect. Came out of the oven not too long ago, but I'm just going to let it sit outside and let it cool down before I cut it. So it's been a few minutes. It's nice and cool. So I cut it into my preferred sizes. My custard is ready. I use some eggs, some milk, and some spices, and we are ready to make the most delectable French toast. The children cannot wait to. Hey, they are rushing me, and I'm like, you all need to calm down over there, okay? No matter what happens, this food is gonna be done, and you guys can sit and eat like the kings and the queens you are, or may I say the princess and the princesses. All right, so dip it in, let it soak up a bit, and then layer it into the skillet and cook it till caramelized on one side for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then flip it. Done. Protein pancakes. Now if you haven't seen this video, then you must. Straight up, what are you waiting for? I've already uploaded it. It was quite the hit in my household, and even I was in awe of how gorgeous these pancakes came out. Protein packed, delicious, sweet, savory at the same time, textured like nothing else. Oh yes, so watch that video. And that's also ready. I made it on the same day I had this chow down, this throw down. Yes, that steak has been resting for quite a bit, so they're ready. See, the juices are in there, they're not running all over the place. We are ready to dig right in. Friends, this was quite an enjoyable day in my family. Every now and then you want to show them as much love as you can for the love and the support they bring into your life. I'm telling you, I have the best family in the world, and I feel they really deserve this throwdown. Absolutely. I would do it over and over and over again. I hope you're able to do the same for your family one of these days. I thank you for watching. Make it a great day and have fun, especially in that kitchen.